Hello and welcome back to Marineford TCG. This weekend there was another big tournament out in Japan, another CS. So we're going to do some more live commentary. People seem to have enjoyed this last week. So we're jumping straight into it. This is the top 16 match. So really high ranked players here, very talented players. And in this matchup we actually have Rob Lucci against Foxy. I was quite surprised to see there are actually two Foxys that made top 16. I've played against Foxy a little bit at locals, things like that. And it didn't seem that powerful to me, but I have seen it's playing some of the new purple cards from set 9. I'm really excited to see what this player's cooked up and how he approaches this matchup. So we do see in the Lucci player's hand, he has an 8-cost Moria, he has a Jack. This seems like a pretty good hand, pretty standard hand. He's got his nice Searcher for the early turns. He can do Khalifa on his second turn if he's going second. I'm not sure which of these players is going first or second. We'll find out in a very short time, I'm sure. Your 4-cost Rob Lucci, you can trash that with either the Khalifa or the Jack to resummon with Moria. This looks like a pretty good hand for the Rob Lucci player. Nothing too crazy. I do know that Foxy likes to go wide fast. They do have the pickles. If we pause here, we see triple Mr. 2. Doesn't seem great. A Khalifa 2k. And a Sanji. This is the new Rush Sanji. This hand's a bit weird. I'm not sure I love triple Mr. 2, especially into Lucci. They don't play a ton of big characters super early. But once he gets to the turns where he starts playing Jack, these Mr. 2s could come in nicely. But yeah, I'm not sure the Foxy player is going to be thrilled about this hand. So we'll have to see how this match goes. I do know Foxy likes to go wide fast with things like Porsche into like a Mr. 2. And they also have the Pickles card that stops your Foxy Pirate other than itself being KO'd by an effect. So if you don't know, what Foxy's leader effect is when he attacks you can do Don -3 and then you can freeze up to one of your opponent's rested characters and rested leaders. So you stop Lucci's -1 effect, which is really important, and you can also freeze a Jack. So the Jack taps itself and then it just gets frozen, it stays there. So we do see the Lucci players going first, going to go with the Spandam. We'll see what he gets here. Looks like he's gonna whiff that. We see a Kobe, which is interesting. A Moria and a Rebecca hit the trash. Seeing the Moria hit the trash, obviously he won't be thrilled about that. The other two, not so much. 2 Don for the Foxy player, gonna do nothing. And then the Lucci player is just gonna do 5 and 5, keeping it simple. Imagine Foxy will take one of these and then counter the other, probably one of these Mr. 2s. And he does draw a Gina 2k, which is quite nice. Mills a Tsuru and a Sabo. This guy's deck's very blinged out. He's got the manga Sabos, he's got the championship Kobe, he's got the championship Jack, and we do see the pitch of the Mr. 2 there, as expected. So 4 Don for the Foxy player. Not sure what he drew for turn. Sure he's hoping for a Porsche. So we'll see, he might just play out one of these Mr. 2s. Looks like that is the play. You're going to see the Mr. 2 come out, ramping him up to 5, which is pretty nice. And then we'll just see a swing of 6. Presumably into life, Lucci likely to take this, and he does. We don't see a trigger, and we see, what is that? Is that another Moria? I think that might be a second Moria, which is pretty good. Yeah, it is another Moria. And he draws a Tempest Kick for turn. So 5 Don. He could do Ice Age Lucci to remove this Mr. 2. I don't think that's a terribly bad play. We'll see what he chooses to go for, though. He might go with the Khalifa. Giving us a nice zoom in on the Ice Age. I can see it there. Looks like he's separating 1 and 4. We'll see if this 1 goes under the leader or if it's 1 for Ice Age. I think 1 for Ice Age seems pretty good to me. But it looks like he's going to go for the 6. Undecided. Yep, going to go for the 6. 6 at life. Mills a 0 cost. And a second Kobe. That's pretty exciting. You don't often see Kobe in these decks at all, let alone 2 copies. Now, presumably for 4 here, we're just going to see the Khalifa come out. I mean, we could see another 6, I suppose. I feel like playing the Khalifa's pretty good, though. Yeah, we do see the Khalifa. I think that makes a lot of sense. I do think potentially I'd have liked to see the clear on the Mr. 2, but I can totally understand why he didn't want to do that. Because it lets his trash fill up quite a lot more. And he also gets the cycle here. He can ditch one of these Luccis. Ditches a Lucci and a Rebecca. That seems sensible to me. He's got Jack, Double Moria, Tempest Kick, Kaku, and an Ice Age. Pretty nice hand, pretty nice hand. That is the 4-cost Kaku 2k, of course. The Foxy player is going to draw for turn. He's up to 7 Don. We could see the 7-cost Foxy hit the board already. Looks like we could see a Sanji come down. Can't see what else he's got. He's covering half his hand, unfortunately. He's got another 7-cost SR. I'm going to presume that's another 7-cost Sanji. That Sanji could come down and rest the Khalifa and clear that there. Not sure how much the Foxy player will care about the Khalifa. But we'll see. See what wants to go for. Just going to go with 5. Does need 3 Foxy Pirates characters on the board for his leader effect. Looks like I can see I think that's a Foxy and a Porsche in his hand. Looks like a Foxy and a Porsche. Lucci's going to take the 5, which is interesting. Goes with the Sanji, rests the Khalifa. And then will we see the Sanji slam into the life or the Khalifa? Looks like life. Yeah, so I do think the Lucci player potentially could have countered out that 5. I'm sure he probably wasn't expecting the Sanji. I've played against quite a few Foxies. Not in 09, admittedly. But I didn't know they were running the Sanji until I saw this player. It's pretty cool. Lucci player did get a Brook off the life. He's going to take again. And he sees... Is that a Kaido? Can't tell what that is. That might be a Kaido, the new 9-cost Kaido. So Lucci is on 7. Can drop Jack to clear the Mr. 2. But then that could get frozen on the next turn if the Foxy player is able to play enough Foxy Pirates. It looks like that card isn't a 7-cost Foxy. It looks like it's a 5-cost Kid to me. All these alt arts, I'm not familiar totally with all the PRB alt arts. This is the 3-cost event. If you're familiar with Uta, this is I'm Invincible. Or for Kuro, that's Out of the Bag. It's a pretty cool event. Restands your Foxy leader. I believe it can also restand Foxy characters, which is pretty impactful because that Foxy character does have 7,000 power. And we do see the leader swing in for 5. He takes, and it looks like that's another Kid, I think. And then we see the Jack come down to remove the Mr. 2. Nice to get rid of that, but he does still have the Sanji on the board. Interesting that he chose not to do something like Ice Age and Brook to remove the Sanji. I don't think the Mr. 2 was too much of a threat. Sanji definitely more of a threat, especially down to 2 life already. And not a ton of counter in hand. So we do see the Foxy player gets the 9-cost Luffy. I'm going to pause here. Yeah, those were both Kids, and he does still have the Porsche. We could see Porsche into Mr. 2, and then play out one of these Kids potentially. Although you do that before the Porsche, but don't worry about it. Could see another Sanji as well, of course. If he can get 3 Foxy Pirates characters on the board, he can freeze the Jack and leader. That would be like Porsche into Chopper. Then he could just play out the Gina. That would enable the Foxy player to use their leader effect, which would be very impactful. Looks like we are going to see 3 for Porsche. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. He's thinking about it, though. He's thinking about it. Might choose to swing 7 with the Sanji first, see how the Lucci player responds to that. We'll see, though. But what he finds off of this Porsche could be pretty big. Could find something like an Itamamizu to ramp his Don back. Could go... Lucci player's on 7, so the Foxy player is ahead on Don currently, which is pretty interesting. Often Foxy goes behind, but in the early game it seems like this player is going ahead, which is pretty cool. And looks like he's going to swing just 6 with leader. No leader effect this turn, so the Jack will get to stand back up, which is pretty impactful. Potentially he'll look for a Pickles off of the Porsche, or he could drop another Sanji and go 7-7. Lucci player chooses to counter both the 7 and the 6. For 7 Don, I could be a Mr. 2. Nope, just going to go with another Sanji. Very respectable. And we will see 7 into life again. Lucci player is going to have to take this one. Rest the Khalifa for fun. I don't think that's going to be very impactful. And the Lucci is already down to 1 life, which is pretty scary for him. He does have a pretty nice turn this turn, though, with the Ice Age going to 9, so he can Ice Age. And I don't think he removed both of these. He does still have the Jack on the board, so he can potentially remove both of these Sanjis still. He can Ice Age down 1, and then Rebecca Spandine Lucci that. Then if he gets a Helmeppo off the Moria, I don't know if there's a Helmeppo in here. If there is, he could Helmeppo this down to 4, Leader Effect it down to 3, and then tap Jack to clear both Sanjis here. That does require Helmeppo in trash. If Helmeppo's not there and it's just Sudu, you can't remove both, at least with a Moria, which I'm sure is what he's looking to establish. Obviously, he can remove both if he just goes with the Lucci and plays out a whole bunch of his events. But I do imagine he's going to want to establish that Moria along with the Rebecca combo. And a look at the Foxy's hand. This Luffy probably potentially going to come down next turn. Put on even more pressure into the Lucci player. Especially if one of these Sanjis manages to stick around on the board. That could be pretty impactful. Lucci player got a lot of options. Got 2 Tempest Kicks. Got Ice Age. Got Lucci. He's thinking about doing all those and foregoing the Moria. I haven't seen a Helmeppo in trash yet. If he has got the Helmeppo, I think that's the best play. Hopefully he has a look here. We can see if there is one. But yeah, like I say, if it's just Sudu, he's going to have trouble. I don't see a Helmeppo. I see Sudu, but I don't see a Helmeppo. He's going to go 5. Mills a Lucci and a Brook. Nothing crazy there. Minuses down one of the Sanjis. And the Foxy player is going to counter out this with that 3rd Mr. 2. Look at his trash. Just 3 Mr. 2s. Very funny. Do you still have 9 Don here? Going to go Tempest Kick. Draws a Khalifa off of that. That's not too bad. So this Sanji is down to 3. Could go with the Jack now. Does look like he's going to go with the Jack. Going to draw 1 and trash 1. See what he gets here. He gets a... What's that? Is that another Moria? Oh, he's going to trash it, whatever it is. It's another Jack. Fair enough. Could have gone with Ice Age Jack with the rest of his Don to clear both and have double Jacks on the board. But choosing not to do that is fair enough. See what he does with the rest of this 8. Looks like he's eyeing up the Khalifa and the Brook. Could do Tempest Kick Khalifa Brook. No, that doesn't add up. Ice Age Khalifa Brook adds up. Nope, just going to see the Moria, keeping it simple. I respect that. Going to go with the just going to go with the value Moria here, so we'll see Rebecca and Spandam come down. Ditching the other Spandam, of course. We will see the Spandam effect. He's going to mill a Spandine, an Ice Age, and a Spandam. Likely to grab the Spandine here, and indeed he does. Then we'll see the Rebecca effect come out. Gonna grab a Khalifa there. See if he chooses to play anything off the Rebecca. I doubt it, but he could play something like Brook. Doesn't look like he's gonna go for that though. No, it doesn't look like he's gonna go for that. And to be fair, I am now wondering if he even had Spandine in trash before. So my idea with the Helmeppo might have been totally out of whack if he did not have Spandine in the trash. But he certainly has it as an option now in hand, even better, because then you can Rebecca something else and then summon it off Rebecca. Not sure what the hold up here is. Looks like the Lucci player's done everything. I'm not sure what the hold up was, but we're back in action with the Foxy player. And he does have that Sanji on the board. Rebecca is going to be able to block 1 hit here, unless he can find a way to rest it. Predominantly with another Sanji. He does have the Usohachi. Usohachi is pretty decent. Looks like we're going to see 5 for Kid. We might see Kid into Porsche here. If Porsche can find Pickles, that would be really good for him. And he is going to have enough Don to play out the Chopper. off of the 2 Don he'll have left, because the Porsche minuses. Then he'll ramp 1 back with the Kid. We'll see what he gets off of this. Looks like he gets Chopper, just Chopper. We're going to get Chopper off of the Porsche, see what he chooses to play out. Looks like it's likely to be a Chopper himself. Chopper does ramp you a Don if you are equal or behind in Don. It's pretty nice, and he's a nice little chump blocker. Yep, does go with the Chopper. Ramps a Don, Kid effect, ramps another Don. And then we will see 2 for the last Chopper. Yep, no ramp there, of course. And then we will see the Foxy leader effect to freeze leader and Jack. Very powerful here. The Lucci player is going to need to count this 5. Not sure what the hold up is here. It was very obviously these 2. I don't think he'd be freezing the span down. And we do see the Sanji attack in. He's rearranging his board. Likely to see the Rebecca block, just to free up a bit of space here. But who am I to say? Who am I to say? Foxy's board is very threatening right now. Looks like it is going to see the Rebecca block. And he's deep in the tank. He's thinking, yep, I think the Rebecca block is fine there. But Lucci player in a lot of trouble. His Jack is tapped and will not be restanding. So cannot get any more KOs with Jack. Pretty impactful. And we do see a Kaido come down. That's pretty slow tempo. Or Kaido enter hand, sorry. Interesting to see what the Lucci player does here. I think he's in a bit of a spot. Having no Rebecca's in hand. Obviously he can play Gecko Moria. But I think he's just going to get run down with just 1 Rebecca. I think he really needs double blockers here, but he just doesn't have it. Because removing all these characters is going to be very challenging. He does have Ice Age Tempest Kick. So he can Ice Age the Sanji. And Tempest Kick the Kid. And then he can do Moria, Rebecca, Tsuru, Spandine, Lucci. To remove Kid and Sanji at least. Can also swing this Moria into the Sanji, I suppose. But I'm pretty sure that will just eat a Chopper blocker. They're not going to be too crazy there. Nope, looks like it's going at life. Think anyway. I would have thought he'd swing it Sanji, but I guess it doesn't matter. I think one of these Chopper blockers is going to get eaten anyway. But the Lucci player is going to be able to remove 2 of the bodies. In the Kid and the Sanji. He will be able to keep the Porsche on this side of the board. And he can then play out this Rush Luffy. So he will have 3 attacks. Just going to eat the Chopper blocker. I'm pretty sure that was aimed at life, but either way, Chopper's going down. Lucci's going to tap 1 Don for Tempest Kick. Cycle that out. Draws another Ice Age. That's probably not what he was looking for at this point in the game. But it's what he got. See what he chooses to minus down with his Tempest Kick. I'm imagining it's Kid. Don't think it really matters whether it's Sanji or Kid, but he can definitely remove both of these. I'm sure we've seen a Tsuru in his trash. And he does have the Moria. But I can see the Rebecca and the Spandine, and there's definitely a Lucci in trash. That would enable him to remove both of these. Just leaving the Porsche, which is obviously not great, leaving any characters at all. But Foxy player was able to go very wide there, which is very powerful. Going to minus down the Kid. I think that makes sense. I think that's fine. Then we're going to see 1 for Ice Age. Minusing down, presumably the Sanji. But we'll see what he chooses to target. In a nice visual, this Altar Ice Age is beautiful. I'm so glad I got the binder that had this in it. Because the price of those has skyrocketed. Crazy. He's working out Ice Age. There must be a Tsuru in here, right? He's milled so much. If he hasn't seen a Tsuru, that's incredibly unlucky. I don't know where this Ice Age went. I'm going to presume it was the Sanji. Rebecca, Tsuru, yep, as we expected. Ditches some of his characters. Tsuru hit the Kid. That's fine. And then he can Rebecca, grab a 2k, play out Spandine from hand. Spandine over the Tsuru, and then summon Lucci over the top of itself. Remove both of these bodies. Very clean combo. Looks like he's eyeing up the Sabo. I think we just grab a 2k here. Hand's looking a little sus regardless, but I think you're going to need as much counter as possible. Because he doesn't know... Obviously he doesn't know about this Luffy, but he's seen Sanji, and Sanji rests Rebecca. So if the Foxy player has another Sanji in hand, that's incredibly powerful for him. Being able to gain rush and rest the blocker would be nuts in this spot. Currently only got the Luffy, but we'll see what the Lucci player goes for here. I'd very much anticipate it's going to be a 2k, but it looks like it might be a Sabo. Not sure what the Sabo is doing. It doesn't really KO anything. I guess it is a blocker. There's that. He's deep in the tank. Does go with the Sabo. And then he'll play out the Spandine over the top of the Tsuru. He'll return 3 and grab a Lucci. Can return double Tempest Kicks and the 6 King Pistol. All the events, typical Lucci stuff. Very good. And then we do see the 4-cost Lucci come out. KO both. So he did do exactly the play that I was thinking of at the start of the turn, which is reassuring to see. I haven't quite lost it yet. And that's going to be it for Lucci's turn. So we'll see how Foxy can deal with that. He does draw for turn. What do we see off the draw? It's a Pickles. Pickles not going to be too crazy, I don't think. Not this turn anyway. I imagine the Foxy player is going to try and get him down to 0 to then utilize that Usohachi on one of the next turns. Don't think he can get the game this turn. He has 5, 6... No, he's not even at 10 Don. But it's 5, 5, 10. That's never going through. I guess if he plays the Usohachi to rest the Rebecca, he has 6 Dons, so that's 8, 8. We know that's not enough, because we do see the 2 Khalifas there. But we'll see what the Foxy player goes for. Foxy player is going to go with the Gina, just ramp a Don. And then for this 9 Don here, we're going to see the Luffy come out. Okay. The Gina does give him the 3rd Foxy Pirates character on the board, which is pretty cool. Does draw a card with the Luffy. And we will see 5 with Foxy, Don -3, freezing the Lucci and either the Moria or the Jack. So we are going to see just a 1k counter needed here. Can either give him one of the Khalifas or the Sabo. So the Lucci player can actually stay at 1 life here. He can give him... there's the hand of the Foxy player. No more rush. No more rush. Going to give him the Khalifa on the 5. Then we might see Porsche attack as well. Porsche will attack for 5. Likely see the 2nd Khalifa, given that he wanted to keep that Sabo. Then the Luffy swing. Yep, we'll get the Rebecca. So that Sabo could come up here. He did choose to freeze the Jack, interestingly. That's an interesting decision. I guess the Jack can just remove one of these for free. Or these have got to at least do battle. Do see a lot of bricks in the Lucci player's hand. I imagine we'll see a Sabo come out very early. If that Sabo can draw into a Rebecca, that would be pretty nice. We do have 3 swings. It's not possible to win without removing this chopper. We could see the Lucci just come down and remove the chopper, and then him go for game. He'd have 6 Don left, so he could go 9, 10, 11. Foxy player does currently have a lot of counter. 6, 7, 8k in hand for the Foxy. So would easily be able to get out of that. So hopefully we see our Lucci friend go for board. I think it is rather risky going for game at this point in time. I think we likely see 5 for Sabo, maybe a swing of 7 with Lucci into the Porsche. No, looks like we're just going to see 6 with Lucci. See where this goes. 6 into leader, and the Foxy player does choose to take. Interesting. There are 10 Don left. I imagine he's very tempted to go with this Lucci play to remove the little chopper blocker. And then he's got 6 Don left. He can do 12-12. The Foxy player does have enough to get out of 12. He has 2-2-2-1-1. Exact numbers to get out of 12. I think quite smart for him to take there, given that he knows the most efficient way for him to get rid of this chopper is going to be 4 Don. Whether that's something like Tempest Kick Brook or just Lucci. Lucci 1 for Ice Age. On, what was that? Was that the Porsche? Looks like that was on Porsche. So we will see the Lucci remove the Porsche and the chopper. And return 3 cards, doesn't really matter what they are. We will see 9 at life from Gecko Moria, and then 9 at life from Gecko Moria. The Foxy player is likely to want to counter this one. Get to remove the chopper as well as the Porsche, which is quite nice. And he's still got 5 Don up for Sobble. So he's going to go 2, 4, 5. Very clean. Those Khalifa 2Ks, pretty cool addition. Hadn't thought about that in Foxy, but here we are. I think likely to see another 9. Lucci player could choose to do 14 into this Luffy, but with the amount of counter in his hand, he loses to the Gina swing, I'm pretty sure. I think the Sabo is the better play. Yeah, we do see the Sabo ditching the Rob Lucci. Draw 2, trash 2. Gets a Rebecca and a 2K. Probably going to ditch double Kaido here. Don't see him wanting to keep either of those Kaidos. Yep, gets rid of those. Very nice. And interestingly, if he had done the Sabo first... I'm going to pause here actually. If he had done the Sabo first and drawn into this Rebecca, he could have done the Ice Age Rebecca Spandine Lucci, and then he'd have had double blockers here. So you could look at this as a potential misplay. Obviously, you do want to keep your options open, but doing the Sabo first would have actually drawn him the Rebecca here, which is pretty cool. Because yeah, then he could have done Rebecca Spanding Lucci instead of just Lucci. And he doesn't attack with the Moria. Interesting. I guess he's sort of saying, I'm going to win next turn anyway. I hope you win now. And we do see the Usohachi come down and rest the Sabo. We're going to see 9 at life, and he takes 11 at life, and that's it. That's the game. So I'm just going to rewind very briefly. If he did have another Rebecca, he would have been able to win this one, the Lucci player. Because we see the Usohachi come down, he rests the Sabo, and he takes 1 and blocks the other. So if he had played the Sabo before doing the Lucci play, amusingly, he could have actually won this game. Could have gone differently. We just have to see, but it is what it is. Nice win for Foxy here. Shout outs to Foxy beating a Lucci player. That's very impressive. I didn't think Foxy would be winning against any Lucci players, but here we are. What a time to be alive. And we'll watch the killing blow again, one last time. There's the 9, grabs the Tsuru, and 11. Very clean. Well played to this Foxy player. We'll pause there. That's the end of the game. If you've enjoyed this video, if you want to see more commentary of the rest of this tournament, we can see how far this Foxy player goes. Make sure you're subbed to the channel. I will have the rest of the streamed games coming out very soon. Make sure you also check out the official One Piece channel. That's where this was broadcast. You can check out the video itself with the Japanese commentary. I'll leave the link to that in the description. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.